Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Sarah Horbacewicz here with meteorologist Corrales Ortiz because we're getting a lot of weather questions right now. Yes. I know a big talker is the possibility for hail in the area.
Yeah, we've been getting lots of viewer photos and videos of the storms rolling through, producing pretty large hail. That's something we've been mentioning. That was the main threat for today. Some of this hail has been quite large. I'll have some photos of that in just a bit, but this is the latest on what the radar is showing. Things are beginning to intensify as those storms begin to organize, become more of a line making its way across central Arkansas this evening. They did start off as more of those single cells, but now they're beginning to form more of that line. As I mentioned, here's what we're seeing. As I mentioned, there's a lot of severe thunderstorm warnings, so I'm not going to get through all of them. We'll likely be seeing more and more added on as the evening progresses. If you're traveling on Interstate 40 right now, I would definitely try to find somewhere to put that car under either some shelter, because some of this hail has been pretty large. Matter of fact, let me switch on over to some of the hail mode. We actually saw reports of hail of over 2 inches in diameter. This one is just north of 298 in Garland County. Right now, the hail not nearly as large, but going up and down this line, as you can see, easily seeing hail up to even golf ball size or larger. This is some footage that was sent to us earlier in Van Buren County. This is more pea-size hail. Thank you to Joshua for sending that in. Of course, any photos that you guys want to share of the weather, of the hail, send them to us at 501-376-1111. I'll be sharing some of that later on, but we are under a severe thunderstorm watch until 10 o'clock tonight. So I'll have your latest details in that severe weather threat coming up in minutes.
We also have an update tonight in tornado recovery coming from Little Rock's Mayor Frank Scott Jr. and other city leaders. That happened yesterday, showing the latest count that at least 3,000 homes and structures were damaged in the storms. Starting on Tuesday, companies will begin removing debris to a landfill where it could later get recycled. This is, of course, the next step, rebuilding. To help the city, we'll have waiving building permit fees for those in and around the tornado's path.
As permits are applied for, we are working with the contractors and the property owners to view the damaged property.
Mayor says Little Rock has received more than $341,000 in donations to go to the city's care fund. He says next week that he'll announce how that money is being used. Mayor Scott also added that he's giving recovery updates at least once every 2 weeks going forward. And before contractors start that debris removal on Tuesday, THV11's Frederick Price shows us a group of people today giving those workers a head start.
The road to recovery, as we've seen, will take weeks.
At the end of the day, it's our responsibility to be here, to serve people, even if you're not affected.
Kadarius Napper is among the more than 500 volunteers spread across hard-hit areas in the city, cleaning up and removing debris. He and his friends heard about the Impact the Rock volunteer project, and they didn't think twice about joining the Day of Unity and Service.
It feels good that my friends brought me here this morning, and it also feels good to be amongst the community and amongst people who care.
It's something Cappy Peck, a city director of this area, could not be happier about.
Disasters like this bring out the very best in people, and I've never seen Little Rock so united.
She says it'll take at least 3 months before most of the debris is gone. Volunteers met at 3 locations, helping people get their communities back to some sense of normalcy.
April is National Volunteer Month, and the city already had planned projects prior to the tornado. But because it did so much damage, organizers decided to put those projects on hold to focus on getting communities like this back together.
Karen Sykes has organized Impact the Rock volunteer initiatives for years.
We get our community together to handle different projects around the city, like cleaning up a park, cleaning up a street. We have people at the Animal Village.
The volunteer efforts, she says, not exclusive to Arkansans.
It's not just residents of Little Rock who have come in to help. It is literally people from coast to coast.
And as driveways and parking lots clear and become usable again, Cappy can't help but to think of the tremendous difference these volunteers are making.
I just could not be more proud of our city and our citizens for coming together. We're going to get through it.
In Little Rock, Frederick Price, THV 11 News.
Director Peck is hoping that today's volunteer effort will happen again. She plans to bring it up during Tuesday's city board meeting. Now tonight in a THV11 update, Benton police are searching for an armed and dangerous suspect. 62-year-old Gary Griffin is wanted for holding a person captive and nearly killing them. Griffin faces charges including domestic violence and attempted capital murder. Benton police issued the warning but says he was last seen in Hot Springs. And tonight, federal agents continue to search for a Little Rock murder suspect on the run. Police say on March 27th, Danny Brown, the man on your screen, went to his estranged wife's house where they believe he shot and killed her. Detectives have now called in the U.S. Marshals to help catch him. His record shows arrests in Oklahoma and Arkansas. If you have any information, call the Marshal's office. A Bryant educator is out on bond today after turning herself into police on sexual assault charges. Bryant police arrested the now former high school teacher Heather Hare Friday morning after a warrant went out. The arrest follows an investigation into her relationship with a student. Hare is free after posting a $15,000 bond following her arraignment on felony charges. Governor Sanders is signing new legislation, this time on teacher unions in Arkansas. It's called the Teacher Paycheck Protection Bill. It prohibits automatic deductions for union dues from Arkansas public school employees' paychecks. Proponents, including the Freedom Foundation, say it gives teachers a choice of whether to be a union member, and nothing in the bill prevents teachers from signing up. Critics of the new law argue it takes away local control from school districts. In a statement, the Arkansas Education Association says the legislation is an effort to stifle the voices of educators, going on to say that, quote, no other public sector employees are subject to the same restrictions being imposed on educators. The governor also announcing her first vetoes since taking office. She took issue with 4 bills. The first one would have provided stipends for members of state corrections boards, and another cut a line item association of $5 million for prison pandemic expenses. The third bill wanted to create a license for behavior analysts, and the fourth would have created a heart attack task force. The governor called the last two duplicative and unnecessary. Military and intelligence experts are still assessing the fallout from a major leak of Pentagon secrets. Jack Texera was charged on Friday. The Massachusetts Air National Guardsman is accused of unauthorized removal and retention of classified and national defense information that was posted on social media. Christian Benavides has more from Miami.
The 21-year-old Air National Guardsman suspected of a major U.S. intelligence leak remains behind bars with a detention hearing set for Wednesday. Jack Texera faced a judge in Boston for the first time Friday. He was charged with 2 counts under the Espionage Act for allegedly taking and transmitting classified documents.
I've instructed the department to make sure that they get to the root of why he had access in the first place, number one. And number 2, to focus extensively on the extent to which it all occurred. And that's going on right now.
Texera's arrest by heavily armed federal agents outside his mother's home Thursday followed a security breach that exposed U.S. assessments on Russia's war in Ukraine and other tightly held secrets.
This is not just about taking home documents. That is, of course, itself illegal. But this is about the transmission. Both the unlawful retention and the transmission of the documents.
Federal prosecutors said in a court filing that Texera's work involved supporting cyber defense operations, raising questions about his access to highly classified information.
I cannot think of a compelling reason, and I assume Secretary Austin and Chairman of the Joint Chiefs Milley are probably asking those same questions.
Authorities say Texera posted the materials in a private chat on Discord, a social media site popular with gamers. The documents were apparently there for months and circulated online before investigators discovered the leak. Christian Benavides, CBS News.
Now, if convicted, Texera could face up to 15 years in prison, while the leak has brought new attention to Pentagon security clearances.